At a Dallas charity gala, the room went silent when an old man stood up. He pointed straight at Clara Whitfield, the wealthy woman who just days earlier had mocked a cashier in public. And with everyone watching, he revealed the truth she had buried for 15 years, a truth that connected directly to his own family's tragedy. What he said next left the entire ballroom in shock. It was a late Saturday afternoon at Harris Market in Dallas, Texas. The store was busy, parents stocking up for the weekend, kids tugging at carts, the smell of fried chicken from the deli mixing with fresh bread from the bakery. At checkout lane 7, Clara Whitfield, a wealthy socialite known in town for her extravagant fundraisers and diamond jewelry, waited impatiently. Dressed in a designer coat and oversized sunglasses, she topped her manicured nails against her cart handle. In front of her, a young cashier named Tara Coleman struggled to scan items while keeping her composure. Tara, barely in her 20s, had dark circles under her eyes and trembling hands. Clara rolled her eyes dramatically. "Good grief, can you move any slower? Some of us have places to be. Do you even know how to do your job?" Heads turned. A mother with a toddler frowned. A college student in line behind Clara shook his head. But the man directly behind Clara, an older gentleman in a worn flannel shirt, faded jeans, and steel-toed boots, didn't react right away. He just studied her carefully, his jaw tightening. His name was Mr. Harold Benton, though nobody yet knew how much weight his voice carried. Tara whispered, "I'm sorry, man. The system froze. It'll just take a moment." Clara let out a sharp laugh. "Of course, excuses. People like you always have them." That was when Harold finally cleared his throat, and what he said made the entire checkout line freeze. "Ma'am," Harold said slowly, his voice deep and firm, "you don't know what battle someone is fighting. Maybe you should think twice before shaming her." Clara turned sharply, her sunglasses catching the store's fluorescent lights. "Excuse me? And who are you to lecture me? Some grumpy old man who probably shops here with food stamps?" The line gasped. The college student muttered, "Wow." But Harold didn't flinch. He looked past Clara, straight at Tara, whose lip quivered as she tried to focus on scanning. "Keep doing your job, young lady. Don't let someone like her define your worth." The cashier gave a faint nod, tears pooling but not falling. Clara scoffed. "Typical. Defend mediocrity. This girl probably doesn't even have a high school diploma. Meanwhile, I graduated top of my class at SMU and run 3 businesses." But Harold just tilted his head. "Funny, because I happen to know something about you, Mrs. Whitfield, and if these folks knew the truth, I doubt you'd be talking so loud right now." The store went silent. Even the beeping registers seemed to pause. By the time Clara stormed out of Harris Market without her groceries, the story had already begun spreading. Dallas was a city that thrived on gossip, especially about the wealthy, and Clara Whitfield was a frequent subject. Later that night, in a local diner off Greenville Avenue, whispers circled. "Did you hear what happened at Harris Market? Some old guy called out Clara Whitfield in the cashier line." The coworker raised an eyebrow. "About what?" "No one knows yet, but he said he had a shocking truth about her. She looked like she'd seen a ghost." The rumors spread fast, and Clara knew it, which is why she spent the evening calling friends, furious, demanding they squash whatever story was coming. But the story wasn't just gossip. Harold really did know something, and it was about to change everything. The following Monday, Tara was called into the manager's office. She braced for the worst, expecting complaints. Instead, the manager, Mr. Russo, said, "Tara, I got 3 phone calls this weekend. Customers praising you for how you handled that situation with Mrs. Whitfield. They said you stayed calm, even when she humiliated you. I'm proud of you." Tara blinked back tears. But then Mr. Russo leaned in. "And Harold Benton, he stopped by yesterday. He told me something about you. Said you've been working double shifts while putting yourself through nursing school at night. Is that true?"
Tara nodded, cheeks flushing. Yes, sir. I'm trying to finish my degree. My mom passed away last year, and I have to support my little brother. This job keeps food on our table. Mr. Russo shook his head. You should have said something. We'll do what we can to adjust your schedule so you don't burn out. For Tara, the humiliation had turned into recognition. But for Clara, the humiliation was just beginning. The cashier isn't incompetent. She's a hardworking student supporting her family. That Friday, the annual Dallas Children's Hospital fundraiser gala was held at the Hyatt Regency Ballroom. The city's wealthiest attended in gowns and tuxedos, champagne glasses clinking under chandeliers. Clara arrived, determined to bury the grocery store incident. She laughed too loudly, shook hands too firmly, and made sure everyone noticed her diamond bracelet. But halfway through the evening, Harold Benton appeared, this time in a suit, though still with the same unshakable presence. Clara's smile faltered. What are you doing here? Harold gave a polite nod. I was invited. In fact, I've been on the hospital's board for 20 years. Whispers spread across the gala. People glanced between the glamorous Clara and the mysterious man who'd embarrassed her at Harris Market. That was when Harold lifted his glass and said, There's something the city needs to know about Mrs. Whitfield. The room hushed. Clara's grip on her bracelet tightened. Harold's voice was steady. Clara Whitfield likes to present herself as generous, a benefactor of children's causes. But 15 years ago, when her company was sued for unsafe working conditions, dozens of employees lost their jobs overnight. One of them was my son. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. My son, a single father, struggled to provide for his little girl after that. He took double shifts at a warehouse to make ends meet. And one night, exhausted, he fell asleep at the wheel. He didn't make it home. The room went silent. Harold's voice broke slightly. My granddaughter grew up without her father because of decisions made by people who valued profit over human lives. And Clara Whitfield was on that board. Clara's face drained of color. That's not true. That was years ago. I had no choice. But the murmurs in the room told another story. Dallas society loved a scandal, and this one was devastating. Within a week, Clara's reputation collapsed. The Dallas Morning News ran headlines about her company's past. Sponsors quietly pulled out of her upcoming charity event. Her friends stopped answering calls. Meanwhile, Tara's story spread on social media. Posts praising the young cashier shamed by a rich woman but defended by a stranger went viral. Community groups raised funds to help her pay for nursing school. And Harold, he never sought fame. He simply said to one reporter, I wasn't trying to destroy anyone. I just wanted the truth to be known and to remind people that dignity belongs to everyone, no matter how much money they have. In that Dallas grocery store line, arrogance tried to humiliate humility, but it was courage and truth that had the last word. Clara thought her wealth gave her power, but Tara's quiet strength and Harold's courage to speak revealed that true worth has nothing to do with money. So the next time you see someone judged for their job, their clothes, or their pace, remember, you don't know their battles, and you don't know their truth. Because sometimes the loudest voice in the room isn't the one that's right.